my name is Mark Okkerse with M&S Aviation Services. And today I'd like to introduce you to November 30 Lima November, our 2002 Lancair Columbia 300 aircraft. The Lancair 300s were the original design airframe for the Columbia aircraft, and they've held up very well over the years. November 30 Lima November is a one-owner aircraft. Was bought originally from the dealer back in 2002. And the plane has always been hangared, and it shows. You can see the cosmetics on this aircraft are impeccable. The maintenance records on this aircraft show that this aircraft has been through regular maintenance with Columbia certified service centers, now Cessna service centers. And so the logbook reads very well. The owners have really paid good attention to the plane. Cosmetically, the owners have done minor touch-up on the aircraft from rock blast, or if you will, prop blast that gets on it. So the wheel pants have been totally touched up, are in beautiful shape. The cowling, there's nothing, no nicks and scratches and whatnot from one end to the other. The Columbias have a leading edge tape on the wing, and this leading edge tape is there to protect against rock chips for the paint and so forth. And after about 10 years of life or whatnot, they get a little opaque, and the owners paid attention and had that leading edge tape replaced with brand new tape on it. Just good attention to detail. The Lancair 300 was designed to be a very capable cross-country aircraft. Although if you wish to go out on a Saturday afternoon or a Saturday morning to a pancake and porky breakfast, the plane does not cost so much to operate or is not incapable of doing short fields and just going out and having fun. With the large 310 horse naturally aspirated engine in this aircraft, you're capable of running 180 knots in cruise. So if you're going somewhere, you're going to get there fast. It has an altitude capability of certified up to 18,000 feet, and I've brought these across the mountains many a time. The beauty of the plane is that you can run at Richard Peak and burn around maybe 16.5 gallons an hour average in cruise, or you can pull it back to Lena Peak and be running only dropping off of maybe 7 knots of airspeed and dropping your fuel burn back down around maybe 13.5 gallons an hour. If you're at altitude, that fuel burn can go down to almost 9.5 gallons an hour, and you'll still be in the high 160s to 170 in true airspeed. So it's a very capable cross-country aircraft. And we'll look at the cabin next and show you how comfortable this plane is. November 30 Lima November has an exquisitely beautiful interior. All of the leather and the carpet and the overhead are all in absolutely gorgeous condition. The interiors on the Lancair Columbias were designed to be high quality to begin with. But the other nice thing about it is with the thick windshields, the composite design, the carbon fiber, when you get in this aircraft and you fire it up with the headsets off, it's very quiet in comparison to a metal aircraft. You don't get the resonance, for example. But once again, the ownership of this aircraft has taken excellent care of keeping the interior in beautiful condition. Part of the beauty of the design of the Lancair Columbia aircraft are the joystick controls. These joysticks, there's dual joysticks, one on each side, and these are linked directly to your ailerons and your elevator by push rod controls. No springs, cables, or pulleys in the aircraft. The other beautiful thing about that is no yoke. So you have your panel is wide open in front of you for both you and your passenger, and it gives a very roomy, comfortable effect. People always ask me when I'm demonstrating the plane before we take off, well, let's talk about the joystick and whatnot, and then we get involved with other things and we get about 2,000 feet up in the air or whatever, and I ask them, well, how's it feel to fly that joystick? And they can't believe how totally natural it is. It's just a perfect extension of your arms, if you will. As you're flying the aircraft, you have trim for up and down or left and right aileron if you're into a crosswind, and you can totally neutralize any pressures that you might feel. As you go faster, it stiffens up. As you get slower, it loosens up. And of course, we have the autopilot and whatnot to operate the aircraft in cruise. The quintessential beauty of the Lancair 300 Columbias are, it's got the old style, we call it old style, but six-pack, if you will, with our engine instruments over here and our six-pack here and top-of-the-line avionics. We can make lemonade out of lemons whichever way we want, but the beauty of the old style six-pack in avionics is that if you want to upgrade the aircraft, you can choose what you're going to upgrade to. And for example, we've had 2 generations now and going on 3rd generation of glass cockpits coming out there, but now we got ADS-B coming out, we got WASP, we got all kinds of things to upgrade to. And with this cockpit design, you can upgrade to some of those options without spending a ton of money, and you'll be on the leading edge of the technologies coming out. For example, ADS-B. The aircraft came out with the Apollo package that you see in here. This was a totally loaded up aircraft for the day. You could not get, there was no Garmin when this plane, for example, when this plane was certified. So what you have here is the top of the line Apollo package. So you have the 6-pack. We have a JPI engine monitor right here. We have an altitude pre-select right here, so you can pre-select your altitude and the vertical speed that you want to climb at. We have a shade and fuel flow, so you got your fuel flow. And we have a clock and timer and the outside air temperature, so we've got everything you need there for hard IFR flying. You come over here and we have the dual Apollo MX-20 multifunctional displays. You can see this display has the charts up showing up on it for safe taxi, so you can put chart view in here. If I want to go to IFR charts, that's what I've got on right now. If I expand out, it'll show the IFR charts. And once again, you can buy the approach plates and load them in there, as this plane does have for charts right here. So we can put our charts on right there. So there you are. We have charts as well. You come down to the other multifunctional display. We've got terrain. We've got lightning, because it's got a WX500 remotely mounted lightning detection, so you've got a storm scope in this aircraft as well. You can do all kinds of things. You can split your flight plan, and you get all your information on here. So great multifunctional display for the day. Don't have to do anything with it. People ask, well, it's older technology. Well, you can use it until that technology goes away, and you can do some upgrading in here. For example, some people want to put a GTN 750 right here, and then you can put a GDL 88 ADS-B, for example, in the aircraft. But you don't have to do that with this plane. You can go coast to coast with this plane, just the way it is. The GPS in it is the GX50, GPS, and it's got GPS approaches as well. Once again, you can go coast to coast with this GPS. It's supported by Garmin at the moment. You can get your subscriptions for all of these functions right through Jeppesen, and you're good to go. If you want traffic, and you can add traffic to a plane like this very easily. If you wanted to add, if you want weather, you could put XM weather, or a lot of people, if they want to leave the cockpit just the way it is, they'll use the portable stuff. But once again, very easily and affordably upgradable if you like to do so. You look down below, this plane is equipped with speed brakes, very coveted thing in the early days when the plane came out. Some of the people said, well, I don't need speed brakes and whatnot. Then they discovered what a great tool it was. And so basically from about somewhere early 2002 on, just about every Lancair Columbia that came out of the factory had speed brakes. Speed brakes are equipped in this aircraft. You come down below, you've got the SL20 radios here. SL30 radios here. These are still a present day Garmin offering. They're kind of a smart radio, being that if you're near your airport and whatnot that you're at, or you have things programmed into your GPS and you hit select, it has an auto list that'll go through and pull up the common frequencies that you might want to use there. And then if you select some more, you can get, for example, you can get your weather frequency, or you can get the emergency 120.15 automatically, and all you have to do is hit the enter button, and it transmits that to the side standby frequency, and then you can hit the flip-flop button to put it in the active frequency. Same thing with your nav. You go to nav, then you can get your nearby, you hit select, and you can get your nearby frequencies for that. These are VORs and ILS approaches it's showing right here. So you have 2 of those, of course, dual nav comms, and then we come down and we have the Apollo transponder, SL70 transponder, very solid transponder, mode C transponder. And then finally we have the STEC 55 autopilot. The STEC 55 autopilot is one of the most common autopilots out there on the market, still serviced by STEC, because there's so many of them out there. It's just a great solid cross-country autopilot. Once again, there's probably more of these autopilots out because they've been out since about 2001, I guess, basically, and they're still producing them. Panel's very simple. Well, I have a customer that talked to me earlier about flying another aircraft that was known as being one of the premier aircraft out there. After flying this aircraft, and he couldn't believe how busy he was with all the different switches and all the different components. The Lancair Columbias are laid out very nicely, very simply. Here's our rocker panel. That's it. Very simple. Backup pump, vapor suppression pump, door seals, taxi, landing, strobe lights, position lights, pitot heat. You're done. Avionics, of course, is over here. You come across over here. You have your flaps. We have 2 position flaps. We have approach flaps and landing flaps. If you're taking off, we usually like to use our takeoff flaps. The plane will take off in 1,600 foot. This plane will go in and out of a 2,000 foot strip if you like, and it'll land in 1,600 feet as well. You have your temperature control over here. Kind of the fun thing about that is that if you get in on a little bit of a frosty morning and your windshield's a little buggered up, where it's cool, your passengers are cool, you turn your heat on, okay, and you put your defrost all the way to the windshield, for example. And as soon as the engine starts producing heat, you put your fan on and you can heat the cabin up and heat the windshield up as well. So pretty cool. All 4 passengers have fresh air vents, as you can see over here. And then there's 4 in the back. All 4 passengers have both regular plug-in, dual plug-in headsets, and the plane is also wired for single point plug-in, so you can have ship-powered power for Bose headsets or Lightspeed headsets in that respect. You'll notice when you were over here the maneuvering speeds on this aircraft. The Lancair Columbias are a utility category rated aircraft. You have 150 knots of indicated airspeed for full deflection of controls. I show this aircraft to pilots that are more aerobatic type pilots and that sort of thing. It's like, hold on, once they find out how fun this plane is to fly, you can put this plane through its motions. This plane was built and designed by sport pilots and sport engineers, and this plane handles like a true pilot's aircraft. Yeah, if you want to take your family and your business associates on this plane and cruise across country, this plane is a coast-to-coast aircraft. The baggage compartment on the Lancair Columbias are very utilitarian. You can stuff a lot of things into that baggage compartment. A good example is I've had four guys in the plane, I've had 4 duffels, and I've had 4 sets of golf clubs laying sideways, laying flat horizontally in this aircraft. My wife and I, in our puppy dog travel, we put a cooler back there, our bags, a boat bag, all kinds of things, and you just have tons of room to take people where you want to take them more. Another one of my trips is 4 of my adult children, all their bags, our dog, and we go basically 3 hours to back up to Wisconsin, basically from North Carolina. The other nice thing about it is that if you look at the seat backs, you'll see the bar across there. If you really want more room, you can take that seat bar out, pop those 2 seat backs out, and you can make this plane into a station wagon. So the plane is really a true cross-country aircraft. As I stated before, the Lancair Columbias have a service ceiling of 18,000 feet, and this plane will go up there very, very solidly up to 15,000. I've brought them up to back and forth across the mountains at 17,000. You're a little weak on your horsepower, of course, at that, but if you're in smooth air, the plane does very well. Come down to around 15,000 feet, and you'll be surprised how solid this aircraft is. If ATC asks you to climb from 8,000, 9,000 up to 13,000 feet, you just point the plane up and you go. It climbs beautifully. For a naturally aspirated aircraft, that is just unheard of. So this plane has a 4-place oxygen tank for the 4-place passengers that you have in this aircraft. That'll generally last on a free flow of about 3.5, 4 hours or whatnot, unless you get an oxidizer. If you get an oxidizer, you can make that tank last maybe 3 times that much. The beautiful thing about having a portable oxygen tank is that you can take the tank out and go to a Medcare or a oxygen shop and get it filled very inexpensively, rather than having a shop have to send a mechanic out to a plane that has a built-in oxygen system. The plane also comes with a canopy cover in this red bag here, so when you're off airport and if you have to tie your plane down, you put the canopy cover on. It covers all the windows and the doors and keeps the sunlight out of your aircraft. And then of course next to that you have a tow bar. The plane is very, very towable. I mean, it rolls pretty easily on a flat surface. You put one person steering and one pushing and whatnot, and it's pretty maneuverable. I'm a 210 pounds. I usually can push the plane around okay on a flat surface myself. And then next to that, there's a box here that has all the maintenance manuals, all the manuals for all of the avionics in the aircraft, and it also has the airplane maintenance manual in there as well that they bought extra with this aircraft. So not only does the Lancair Columbia offer an extremely capable cross-country aircraft to bring your passengers, your family, your business associates in sheer comfort, but 30 Lima November is an aircraft that has less than 500 hours on it, has been extremely maintained by its owner, is in beautiful condition, and offers a great opportunity at a great price. So I'd ask you to take a look at this aircraft. You can look at it on my website, which is www.msaviationservices.com, where you'll find this video and the logbooks and the specifications on it. Or you can give me a call, Mark Okkerse, at 704-663-2364, and we can talk. Thank you for your time today.